Recep, firstly, thank you so much for having me at your beautiful property.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for coming.
We're at the Ajman Hotel by Blazon Hotels. It's absolutely beautiful, especially the gorgeous room we're in today. But before we get into the property and the brand, I'd love to just really learn a little bit about yourself, maybe some of the experiences you've had across your years in hospitality to countries and some of the brands maybe you worked in previously and how you got to today.
Absolutely, Mark. First of all, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here. I started hospitality straight after secondary school, which is in Turkey, where I born. Work in a housekeeping department, which is very enjoyable. Then work different areas in food and beverage, in kitchen. Eventually, I moved to Ireland in age of early 20. Privileged enough to work with one of the luxurious brand in Ireland, uh, currently called Doyle Collection, Westbury Hotel. Back then, one of the best hotel in Dublin. Spent 10 years of my life there, working in various positions, from F&B to revenue director, food and beverage director. Then moved to west of Ireland, one of the beautiful property. It's called Kirona Castle. Amazing destination castles, luxurious, have its own cottages, rooms, destination spa. Again, I was lucky enough to work in the south of Ireland, County Wicklow, Druids Glen, 218-hole golf course, resort, approximately 11 outlets, 400-acre land. Then after that, I got approached by one of the big company in Dubai in 2016 to manage the pre-opening luxury hotel in downtown. I came in, worked for 3.5 years for them as a general manager and pre-opening and post-opening. Then got offer from Blazon Hotels to manage one of the new opening hotel called Grayton Hotel, managed by Blazon. It's in Al Mankoul, luxurious boutique hotel, 84 bedrooms, combination suites, two beautiful restaurants, G&T lounge. Managed that property during challenging times, during COVID. Managed to navigate our way out of it and review our market segmentations and reshape the business. After successful 2.5 years, I start to work for Ajman Hotel. This is my current role as general manager of Ajman Hotel, managed by Blazon, which is a resort, 182 rooms. Again, we have a big F&B outlets here. We have 11 outlets. That is from Indian restaurant Bukhara, Italian Sabella, which is authentic cooking. We have a Zanzibar, really traditional way of on the beach, relaxing, chilling out, and having your shisha while you have your cocktail. Pool bar. We have a cosmic bowling, which is 6 lanes. It attract a lot of local business around here. And managing team of 240 people at the moment.
Amazing. And before we go further into Blazon and the current property, you've obviously just kind of broken down your experience in Ireland. I'm Irish as well, so very patriotic.
Good
So
to
I
know
want to get
that.
into that. And now you're in the UAE and the Middle East. What would you have said is maybe some subtle differences, apart from the weather, that you'd notice between hospitality in Ireland and hospitality over here? Is there any cross-pollination at all?
Absolutely. In UAE's product itself is more luxurious, but hospitality in Ireland, there is a term in Ireland, as you know yourself, it's called Ketmila Folcha. That is self-explanatory. For those that don't know, it means you're a million times you're welcome. It is by itself has actually cover all this aspect of hospitality, and that's not being written by for the hospitality. It's been when you go down west of Ireland to countryside, that is how they greet their guests, and that's been obviously carried after generations to the people over there. Hospitality in Ireland is quite unique. Actually, it's more personal. Not about product, it's about how you create the experience, memorable experience in people. And that had a very positive impact on my career, quite frankly. It was good.
Yeah, listen, glad to hear. I think when you're born in Ireland, hospitality is kind of inbred into you from a very young
Absolutely.
age. So we're in this beautiful property right now, Ajman Hotel, and part of Blazon, the wider group. So I know you explained it a little bit there, but maybe we could go into the specific property in the group as a brand as a whole.
Absolutely. The brand itself, it has been created by gentlemen called Reto Witter and Ulrich Eckert. One of us, our chairman and a CEO, they've both been in industry more than 50 years each. They have created their own hospitality group. It's called Blazon. Blazon's word mean shield. Now, we do have, of course, same as any other brand, we do have our own brand pillars. We have a service behaviors. But our service behaviors, our service promise is quite straightforward. Experiential, which is the experience that we have, define the luxury basically, and tailor that to our guest needs. It's simple as that. And what we do is, based on those standards, service behaviors, we train our team members, not as a commercial training, more on a personal level, to how to create a moment for our guest. I mean, what we try to introduce here is the fine difference between processing guests and providing hospitality. Now, there is a lot of places that they follow SOPs, but be able to provide hospitality requires different personal touch, and you need to get out that commercial mindset out of it. Beside that, team itself, as I mentioned earlier on, is 240. We have a quite big F&B outlets. We cater from Italian to Indian. We do have also bistro style as well. We have a cosmic sports bar, in-room dining. Menu is quite extensive. My team is around 30 different countries, different nationalities. The chefs, again, we have Arabic chefs. We have a German executive chef. We have Indian head chef. For every Italian, we have, for every cuisine that we have here is nationalities, same original nationalities. Again, our marketing from different nationalities, sales, front office, from bellboy. We look at from all the aspect of it. And as I said, most important thing, we focus on people, not only guests. The most important is the staff itself. We focus on the staff. We bring them on board, and we train them on two aspects. One, the actual standards, then a personal touch, so that we can create a moment. And I do believe that without team itself, we cannot achieve your vision and goals. Therefore, is most difficult part is to bring them on board and make them believe that what we are delivering is the right things to do. So.
For sure, I've always thought that, if you can't treat the people that work in your team well and have a great environment, there's no way that they'll put that experience onto the guests, right? If they are having a negative work experience, it's impossible to turn a happy face on to the guest and act in that way. So it comes from the top for sure.
No, absolutely. It is basically you look after your people, they look after your business.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, it is easy to say, but there requires certain measures, certain initiatives, such as, yes, we all have job descriptions, we all have salaries. That's perfectly okay. But in order to motivate the team members, we need to kind of introduce different incentive schemes around the hotel so they can get benefit of it. Hospitality is one of the particular job that require a lot of hard work. You work around the clock. You work all the special days while everybody else enjoy themselves. You work New Year's, you work Christmas. But in return, the reward that you want is a career growth. As an employer, as a manager, what we need to provide is personal development plan to those people, to team members, so that every one of them, one day, they come to be general manager, CEO, chief operator officer. As I mentioned earlier, I start housekeeping. I was waiting table. Yeah. But that's how it happens. In Blazon here, in Ajman Hotel, yes, we do have a personal development plan in place. We train our team members. And of course, we do have incentives in place to motivate them as well.
Yeah, and I love your point earlier about kind of people over process, right, to some extent, because I often felt like during COVID, I was always saying to hotels, we're hospitality, not a hospital. So let's be careful of that, line where we cross it when we were putting in the COVID restrictions. But with the people over process, I find sometimes with the big brands, I won't name names, but sometimes the process is so evident in the way the people treat the guests compared to when you come to maybe a smaller brand or even independent properties, you really get that personal touch.
It is, yes. As you mentioned now, it is When you go smaller boutique hotels, family-run hotels, that you get that personal touch. But what we try to do, we try to create the same here as well. I mean, we do have morning briefings in this hotel, like most of the hotels. But one of the point is that we look at our arrivals. Why are they coming to our hotel? Are they here for just a holiday? Are they here for birthday celebrations? Or are they here for honeymoon? Anything. We try to acknowledge that before their arrival. You will have welcome note from general manager in their room. You will have birthday wishes in their room with VIP amenities to personalize that. Yeah. And that's crucial, is important actually. In arrival that we will offer our guests still after COVID, we reintroduced chill towel, fresh juice. It's quite important that when you arrive to a hotel, everything starts the moment you step in the door. Yeah. And then continue that way.
Yeah, it's like the Disneyland ethos of how they make every experience magical, right? Because
absolutely,
if you actually think about it, a lot of times when guests go on holidays, it's actually sometimes an escapism from maybe their day-to-day life at home that they don't love that much. They've waited for this week or 2 weeks all year long. And I think sometimes, I worked in hotels, you forget that actually you're in the experience game.
It's true. I mean, we don't sell plate of food. We don't sell one room. We sell experience. We create the moments. We sell experience. It is, as you said, we are in an experience game. We are not selling a single product. Therefore, we need to create. I do believe, I was privileged enough to learn that in Ireland, my mentors, I'm not going to mention their names, okay? But you need to create a proud place for staff team to work, so they can deliver memorable experience to your guests. Yeah. If we are not proud what we do, we will have negative impact from our behavior to the guest. Yeah. But in order to deliver that memorable experience, we need to believe in that what we are doing. And then that's where this team come in, basically. As I said, as you've seen that, I'm keep emphasizing team. Sure. Today, a lot of countries, as you know yourself, in Europe especially, they find difficult to find staff. That is a reflection of how we treat the people.
Brilliant, and enjoyed that. And just I want to kind of segue a little bit into, if you were a young hospitality professional listening to this, and we're currently in a resort, you're managing a resort. Many people who leave hospitality universities, they go into city-based properties. So they might work in London, they might work in New York. What would you say is, on a day-to-day basis, the biggest difference for someone who's managing, say, a city-led property compared to a resort? What are like the major differences you've noticed over the years?
There is good few differences. As I previously managed city center hotels, destination and resort. Now in city center, you are purely commercial minded. You kind of work towards the traffic, and before even you get to work, there is that rush hour mindset is there for you. When you go in, your clientele, even in city center hotels, they don't come for holiday. They do come for conference calls, for business meetings, whatever it is, and there are kind of demand for different service. But when you come to the resort, first of all, our guests are coming here for a holiday. They want to switch off completely. You're empty from there, regardless that you kind of want it or you don't want. You come to be in that mode as well. You come to be more relaxed. Yes, you do work same hours as someone else, but the benefits that you get from it, say, for example, our team members here, if they wish to use a beach, they're more than very welcome to do so. While other people travel around the world, come here to have a 1 week holiday, they pay a fortune. They can have that every day. I mean, using the water sports. I mean, we do monthly activities in the beach for the staff members, like beach volleys and a lot of other things. Somebody coming from Ireland, that I think this is a privilege when you work in a resort like this. You actually have work and holiday at the same time.
Brilliant. And on that, because we talked about how important people are on the team, and again, and maybe if you're more of a manager listening in right now, how have you seen some of the incentives you've implemented at the property really impact your team members in a positive way? Is there like one or two incentives that you've?
Absolutely. I mean, We do have different incentives from food and beverage incentives. F&B, we have room incentives. Let's not give ideas to other hoteliers, but
Come on, you have to share your knowledge.
but put this way, for example, you're here to stay in our hotel. You booked a room already, and you book one particular room category, and following room category is available, and you like to have kind of impress whoever you're coming with. Staff members try to upsell that.
Yeah.
While when they upsell that, whatever there is supplement apply, of course, they will get a percentage from that.
Brilliant.
I mean, as you know yourself, we all work for money.
Yeah.
And best way to motivate people in one way, to financial,
sure.
and to give them financial freedom. Also, the breathing space. I mean, and people, I feel in this hotel now, they can breathe. Yeah. I am a very approachable guy. I make very clear with everyone. They can come to me, they can talk to me, because they are the one to giving us feedback from a guest.
Yeah.
And they know what guest wants.
Yeah.
For example, you come to a hotel without breakfast, my team will upsell the breakfast to you. Yeah. But not just upsell it. I don't have this attitude and mindset that it's part of their job. It is not. That is kind of, as I said to you, thin line between processing and providing hospitality. Yeah. When they get incentive from a breakfast, they sell like their own.
No, listen, I love that, because I remember I was working in a property in London. I won't name the name of it, but I was in revenue management, and before I moved into revenue management, I was in reservations, and it was me and 4 amazing women. They all had families, and I remember we were getting phone calls in. It was a 5-star luxury property, so the upsell was considerable, right? And they were talking to me about, their bills that they have with kids and college and schools. Mm-hmm. When I went into revenue management, I kind of mapped out how many upsells they could do in a week, and what would that impact be to their lives, and then the impact for the hotel's bottom line, because you're filling rooms that are empty at a higher price.
Absolutely.
And I remember the revenue manager saying, we don't do that here. It's not something we do. And I just thought, wow, there's such a solution there to have a positive impact to the hotel's P&L and have a positive impact to the team's life. Their motivation would go up. They could bring more money in for their families, and it was just shot down. So I love the fact you said that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I have a lot of other incentives in place for the staff members here, and quite happy. We do have a weekly revenue meeting. Yeah. We go through our reports, and when we look at upselling reports, I mean, some of the revenue that we get from a front office from upselling, it pays staff salary, by the way.
Yeah. Nope.
I mean, that's the thing. Nothing wrong with that.
If this hotel is looking or listening now, inflation's hitting the UK, so help the people that work for you out. So maybe implement it. But it's so true.
It is good for business, good for people.
It's good for everything. It's just
good for everybody.
Yeah, I think sometimes it frustrates me in hospitality. We have sometimes an old mindset. The way things are done should be always the way they're done, and we don't innovate at all. We don't think about ways. It feels like when something's a win-win-win.
It's self-explanatory.
The guest gets a nicer room, a nicer experience. They're happier. They've impressed their partner. Maybe the hotel gets more revenue to the bottom line, and the team member goes home happier with a higher salary.
Smile on face.
Anyway, I'll leave that for now. If we kind of finish on, before we go into a bit of a fun quick fire, if you were to say there is, one piece of the property that you're really trying to, it could be the energy, it could be an experience within the property. Is there any kind of one centerpiece you're really trying to drive home as a value proposition for, the next 12 months? So when people leave, they kind of talk about 1 or 2 things as their favorite.
It is, I mean, of course I would like to say it, but from a previous experience, what I have seen that more than 90% of people, that what they will take away and they will never forget, the actual experience itself. And I have a friends in Ireland that stayed at the hotel that I worked 10, 12 years ago. And today, to this moment, they talk to me anytime I meet with them regarding that night that stay particular hotel. It's not about what exactly they had, how it has happened, what size of room it was, what type product used, but the whole experience. I think I won't be able to point any particular area in hotel.
Yeah.
And from the apartmental perspective,
The experience.
experience.
Yeah,
It is
I love it.
experience people will never forget. I mean, some of people that they go to holiday once in their life, they come to the age of 60, 70, they go, or some of the been holiday early 30s or late 20s, and they never been vacation again in their life.
Yeah.
And they will remember, well, they've been in this particular country. I mean, for vacation. It's experience.
But the thing is, the experience is kind of like the invisible USP, right? If you have a beautiful infinity pool, someone else can build a beautiful infinity pool. If you have a beautiful rooftop restaurant, someone else can build a beautiful rooftop restaurant. What you can't build is the experience that your team members give off.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to do.
Yeah. Listen, I'd love to jump into a bit of a fun, quick fire way to end it. So I'll ask a couple of questions. You can't be political in your answers. So you have to give me one or the other. That comes to when I ask you about your favorite hotel and favorite brand. So you can't name this property. So firstly, if you're going on vacation, are you going for sun or are you going for, say, snow, like a ski trip?
I would go for skiing because I haven't been skiing a long time.
Brilliant. Are you going for a city break or are you going for more of a countryside resort
Countryside,
break?
definitely.
That was quick.
Definitely countryside.
Are you more of a person who loves brands or more independent boutique experiences?
Independent boutique, please.
And final one, this can't be this property, even though, I'm sure it's in the top one or two. Is there any property that you've visited over the years, not necessarily worked in, but somewhere you've visited, and it's just been, you still remember it to this day for whatever reason? It could be the experience, it could be the decor, the views, whatever. What's your kind of favorite hotel experience that you've personally, nothing to do with business or anything, but just personally experienced over the years?
I travel a lot. I have a high expectation. I think that the best hotel that I have experienced, it was be Kirona Castle, which is where I worked for 4 years. It was unique. I have not seen anywhere else in
Amazing.
Europe either.
I like the answer ended in
Kirona Castle
in my
is
home
amazing.
country.
It's amazing.
Listen, I've really enjoyed this conversation, so thank you much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Mark, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you.